So if you've ever played Jailbreak before, you've definitely run into a toxic player, and sometimes it's really annoying to deal with those people. So if you want to know how to get them out of your life and out of your way, watch until the end of this video, because I'll be telling you exactly what to do in a situation where a toxic Jailbreak player isn't leaving you alone. Before we start, I just want to mention that I am only giving you methods of how to get rid of the most common type of toxic players. So you could still use these methods on other people, but it probably won't work as good as these type of toxic players. The first type of toxic player I'll be giving you methods about is the player that always kills you for arresting them or killing them. So the first thing you could do with this type of toxic player is change to the same team as them, which basically, once you've done that, you may think that, oh, this didn't really do anything, they're still going after me. Well, it made a really big difference, because if you guys haven't known, if you're on the same team as someone, they can't use guns, rocket launchers, or C4, whatever on you. So you have to be on separate teams to use those items on each other, because so now you're on the same team as them, so they can't use C4 and stuff on you anymore, because you're going to be constantly switching to the team they're on, so they can't really do anything to you other than punching you. So it's a really good method, and it works all the time for players that just keep on killing you and arresting you and targeting you for arresting them or killing them. Another method is to pretend to be AFK and let them do whatever they want until they get bored. Well, you may think that this is just a very, very trash method. Well, in some cases it is, but in others it is actually really good. So what you could do is you could just switch to the prisoner team, and just go AFK in the prison. Watch them punch you, kill you millions of times. And over time, they'll get bored, like they'll get really, really bored over time. And then they'll either leave game or go do something else. And once that happens, you could just go back to doing your normal thing while they are thinking that you're still in the prison AFK. You could also hide in spots that they don't know about. And a good example of a spot people don't know how to get to is under the map. So basically how you get there is you need to get a helicopter. You need to go to the edge of the map and basically fly under the fake water over the barrier. So you may think that you're going to be killing yourself by doing that. All you got to do is you got to fly until you get to the border, and once you start getting damage dealt to your character because of the border, you just fly back a bit, go down, and then you're going to be under the map. It's really, really simple. And honestly, I don't know why Sigma and Bad CC didn't patch it yet, but I mean, it's a good place to hide from them. Now I'm going to call this the lame method because you're not getting much fun out of it, but what you could do is you could just block them and switch servers. This is really good with any toxic player, no matter what game you're on. You could just block them and switch servers. It's not that hard to do. So the second type of toxic player is the player that becomes toxic when you don't give them money. So some good ways to get rid of these people is to block them or just don't respond. These are really short answers, but I mean, they're really, really good. I have another one, but if you really want to get rid of them, you could just block them or just don't respond. And if you want to have fun, you could say you're broke. Even if you have $1 million, like $100 million in the game, just say you're broke and watch how they react to it, because I've done it before and the way they react is priceless. The third toxic player is the player that never leaves you alone for being better at the game than them. So at that point they say stuff like, you suck, I'm better, blah blah blah. It's very stupid, and it's really, really simple to get rid of those people. So to deal with this type of toxic player, you can just block them and switch servers, or you could pretend to agree with them and say nice things to make them mad. So, for example, they're in chat and they're typing in, I'm better than you. And you're like, you could type in, oh, I agree. Thank you for the compliment. And then just look at their reaction, because they might not react to it, they might not respond at all, and just nothing happens and the whole situation ends. But if they do end up reacting, like they do end up responding, the reaction is really, really funny. And I've done it before, and it's really, really good to make them, like, leave game or just hate you in general. And if you don't want to start anything in the chat, you could just pretend they're not sending anything and just don't respond to them. This is also a really good method because you're not starting anything in the chat, so there's not going to be incredible spam stuff going on in the chat. And they also won't get any fun out of it because they're gonna think that you're not looking at the messages and stuff, and then they'll get bored of it. So this is also a very good method. And another toxic player that I'll be talking about is the player that targets you and only you. So to get rid of this toxic player, what you gotta do is you gotta switch to the same team as them. So basically, once you do this, they won't be able to target you because all they can do with you is punch you, because if you're on the same team as someone, C4 and stuff doesn't work. So as long as you're on the same team as them, then they really can't do anything with you. So really, really good method. And another thing you could do is you could just block them and switch servers. It's a very good method if you don't want to do anything. And honestly, I don't really like this method because you're not getting any fun out of it. You're just kind of blocking them and pretending like nothing ever happened. So it's kind of boring to do. And another thing you could do, this is a really, really fun method. You could get a group of friends and you could just target them back. Like, you get a group of friends on, and then you guys all team up and like target that one person. And then once you kill them like 50 times, their reaction will be priceless. And if you really don't want to do any of these methods, you could just do anything you think will make them leave the game. And the fifth toxic player that we'll be talking about in this video is the player that just can't stop sending negative messages towards you in the chat. So to get rid of this toxic player, what you could do is block them. Obviously, a really, really boring method. But I mean, it does work really, really well. And another method that you could do, this one is the fun method. You could just agree with them. And like, if they say that you are like the worst player, what you could do is you could just agree with them and just look at their reactions. I've mentioned this method before in this video, and honestly, I'm just gonna say it again. It's a really, really good method, and it always works. And if you really don't want to do any of those methods, you could just ignore them completely. That right there will be the end of this video. If you've enjoyed, make sure to tell me down below in the comments. And if you haven't, please tell me if you haven't and why you haven't, because I need to know how to improve and I need some tips. But yeah, hopefully you all enjoyed, and I'll see you guys all in my next video soon.